Well, the auto industry has been hammered by the coronavirus pandemic and lockdowns. Research firms largely expect May auto sales to drop by 33% compared to last year. But as bad as that sounds, it would still mean a roughly 50% jump from April's terrible numbers across the world. And Volvo outperforming some of those expectations. First quarter sales numbers out this morning. And while, yes, they did drop by 25% year over year, there are some positive trends to dig out of those figures. Joining us now in a Worldwide Exchange exclusive is Håkan Samuelsson. He is president and CEO of Volvo Cars Group Worldwide. We appreciate you joining us here on Worldwide Exchange. Mr. Samuelsson, thank you very much. And nobody is saying that sales are good, down 25.5% from May of 2019. But it looks like when you dig through the numbers, there are some signs of a relatively faster rebound than some had expected. Is that a fair way to read it?
Yeah, really. I got the numbers here yesterday we discussed, and I must say I was positively surprised, especially in the US, where we have had a very strong close down. But in the May figures were only a couple of percent lower than last year's. I think that was much better than we expected, and that is positive. And China, of course, we knew that they are 20% above last year. And Europe is now the slowest market. We are on around 50% in May of normal, but in a rather steep acceleration to normal. So if this continues, this month will be better. So really a V form of comeback is what we are seeing right now, looking into the recent sales numbers.
That's amazing. You know, I spoke with a Volvo car dealer on the East Coast of the United States about a week ago, and he said that sales, he had actually sold more cars in May of this year than in May of last year. I get it. One dealer does not a story make, but the idea that people were coming back into the showrooms in aggressive numbers in the mid to later part of the month gave him some hope. Were you seeing weekly growth trends along that road, Håkan?
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely a curve upwards, and you see it also very strong for used cars. But it's also, of course, interesting, not only people returning to showrooms, our dealers are also working very hard now online, contacting dealers. I think a lot of the deals are also made digitally.
And let's focus on the world. You'd mentioned Europe. Are you seeing similar trends in Germany, France, and the other major markets that you service in Europe? And what about China as well, Håkan?
Yeah. China is, of course, they are back to normal. They are a couple of months ahead. So there we are selling 20% more than normal in May, and then also April was better than last year. Europe is later in the process, especially UK, very hard close down, and then Germany also, of course. So basically we had 50% of normal in April. We had that also in May, but the difference was in April it was a declining curve, 50%. In May now it's an increase of sales activity, but still on 50. So we are rather positive that June here will come out stronger than 50. It will be probably halfway back to normal. Let's see.
Wow. It doesn't hurt that you're designing, and I'll editorialize here, some really good-looking cars. The V90, probably one of the best-looking cars, the cross-country on the market. Your SUV, I know I see them everywhere, so congrats on that. Let's talk about South Carolina, Håkan, if we can. Obviously, you're a major employer in the state of South Carolina. You were crushed by the pandemic lockdowns. You're crushed by supply chains. What is the status of the South Carolina manufacturing facility right now?
We had the factory open up some weeks ago here, but then we had disturbances in supply. So I hear now there are, especially from Mexican suppliers, is causing disturbance. But we are really opening up here this week on Friday, and then we should go back to normal production conditions, and then it's a question, of course, how fast sales will come back, if we can really utilize the factory full or not. But it's a big step towards normalization on the supply side this week on Friday.
And we have had the head of the Port of Charleston, South Carolina, Jim Newsom, on this program a few times, Håkan, and I've been talking to him. He says things are getting fairly back to normal as well. Are you able to get the global parts that you need to build a car right now? Is the supply chain back to normal or close to back to normal?
Close to normal. We had some parts which forced us to close down the factory here some weeks ago. And that was what I hear, mainly Mexican parts. But right now, I think supply chain is back, and we are planning now to open fully on Friday to produce the cars for our dealers.
Oh, okay, some good news in the shorter term. People seem to be worried now about the longer term. Håkan, when you look out a year or 18 months and you do your planning, what do you and your team at Volvo see for a year out, 2 years out?
I mean, we prefer to think about the second half year almost of this year, but already there we are stressing to our people, I mean, don't go into a downward spiral of pessimism. The second half year, there is no reason really looking into the signals now from the market. We should have a normal sort of summer vacation here in July. It's always in Europe a bit low activity anyhow. But after the normal summer vacation, we see a pretty normal second half year of 20, and then 21 should follow our more long-term plans where we should be able to come back to normal. So that is, of course, we are probably helped by a very strong product program, as you said, very attractive products. But the coronavirus, maybe I'm a bit too optimistic, but we should see normal activity already in the second half. But of course, something will probably stay. You know, I mean, back to normal maybe it's not the right word. We say back to full operation. But for example, e-commerce, that is probably something that will stay. I think also we will learn to travel less. I mean, video conferencing has improved enormously in some weeks' time. I think we have learned now we maybe don't have to travel all the way to US or China for a 2-hour meeting. Could do that online.
Yeah.